everyone, and welcome back to another Sims 4 speed build video. And today I am building the year 3000, or if you want to call it a Utopia, or if you want to call it the year 3000 Utopia mixed with a little bit of Greek architecture, ancient Greek architecture, you can call it that too. But yeah, I made this. When did I make this? I made this at just before I went on my trip to Zimbabwe, because I think this is the final piece of the backlog that I was supposed to upload in July. And it is now October. How the time flies. And yeah, this is what I originally was supposed to upload, but then obviously a lot of other things. I was even tempted, right? I'll tell you about the journey, but I was even tempted to just build a whole nother build and upload it today and then see this later. But then my building style has yet again changed. I have evolved in terms of technique and skill level and stuff like that. And I was like, I need to get this out because it took a lot of my time to do, so it'll be really sad to know that I've wasted a lot of time on a build that never comes out. So I was just like, this is gonna go out, and this is gonna go out more of an art piece than maybe anything else, because while the build is somewhat usable, I'm still going through test runs to try and see. I'm still trying to go through test runs to try and see how it's functioning and everything. I do want people to know though that as much as I do try and test my builds, I can't accurately test every single thing, because since I use more objects on, things will shift as you place it down onto your lot. And things may be a little bit there might be just a littlest bit of a squidge to try and get through. But I tried to do my best. But this time around, I am yet to play test it. And you're probably thinking, how have you done that? Because clearly in the cinematic intro, your Sims are doing stuff. I teleported them everywhere, because the things I will go into what happened yesterday, but I just did not have the time or the patience to watch my Sims go through the entire lot to get to a certain place, which makes me think to have a singular household here must be extremely annoying. Because imagine I built a mansion, because this is on the lot, the Bailey Moon mansion lot. If I build a mansion, if someone's in the swimming pool and I need them to go in the bedroom, it's going to take them absolutely ages. And the functionality of mansions, I can't get with them, because at least with this build, I was going to say some of this build is a little bit better, because at least you've got, since it's a residential rental, you can really focus onto one unit. You don't really need to move outside of it. But then, since it is at the end of the day on a lot, you do have to go to the front of the lot. So if you're someone placed on the third floor of the farthest unit, it's gonna be a little bit of a trek for you to get on. But let me just tell you guys what happened yesterday. So I've had this in the backlog for a long time, mainly because I keep getting inspired to build other things, and other times just because I do not want to furnish it. I've told you guys before, I absolutely hate furnishing my builds. It's one of the things that it's not the funnest thing to do. And the problem is now, since I've become so in my residential kind of mindset, that I'm struggling now to furnish community lots. So that's why when it does come to the interior design of this entire thing, you'll be like, she's kind of just used the same kind of thing for the entire thing. And I did, because of two reasons. I used the same kind of aesthetic. Well, obviously the same aesthetic, it's the same lot, but I used the same kind of items, which is literally the packs that you would need the most for this is, I'm sorry, I know I'm jumping between topics. I just want to say this a little bit of a footnote. The packs that you'll probably need the most for this entire build will probably be Eco Lifestyle. It will be For Rent. It will be For Rent a little bit, for the lights mainly. Eco Lifestyle, For Rent, Get Famous, Spa Day, and Journey to Batu. But I think for just kind of the shell of it all, you could, not just the shell of it all, but just kind of the gist of it all, you can get away with Spa Day and Eco Lifestyle. Journey to Batu just adds a little bit of extra storytelling to it, and For Rent is mainly the lighting. I think the train may be from Snow Escape. Snow Escape is another important one you need, and City Living. But I think those are basically the crutch of all the packs that you need the most. There's plenty more packs in this, I promise you. When you go onto the when you go into the build and on the gallery and you see there's going to be like so many packs, which I'm so sorry for. Hold on. Let me finish my point. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me finish my point. When you go into the gallery, you're going to see there's loads more packs. Those are just like little extra additions that I added into it to just kind of make it look a bit more filled in. But the gist of it is Spa Day, Jenny Batu, For Rent, Equalize Stars, No Escape City 11, those kind of packs. But now I've got that out of the way and let me talk about it. If you saw that when you see in the interior design, it looks a little bit sparse. That's particularly because one, it's been so long since I've built a community lot. I was just looking at it and I was just like, I do not know what to do with myself here. Two, I wasn't inclined to do escapist build. Like, this build is something that I had to get out now because I feel like all the build ideas I have, this wouldn't even come out until like maybe February next year. So I have to get every single thing out now. So I wasn't even in the mood to build anything particularly escapist. So I wasn't even like in that inspirational flourish that I'm normally in when I'm building something. So I had to put all my playlists on YouTube. It was like, yeah, 3,000 playlists. Really get into the gist of it. And it's not because I don't love sci-fi. I absolutely love sci-fi. But I am more inclined to make a grungy sci-fi thing. So like a cyberpunk city. Like even as I say this, I was thinking in November, I wanted to make a more grungy cyberpunk city compared to the one I made, because I've made one before, but that one was more pinks and stuff like that. I want to make one that's kind of dirty, almost like the mixture from my Gotham build, because I've also built Gotham in The Sims if you want to check that out. A mixture between my Gotham build and my Cyber City build and stuff like that, because one particular thing that I've really kind of realized when it comes to builds like this that I don't really kind of lean into is the floating cars. Like there's floating cars, that's the thing, because sometimes it's just random lights in the sky. Like I really want to do that completely escapist kind of feel that you get with those kind of builds. That is not something that I could necessarily achieve here, because the mindset here, as you can tell by the mixture of kind of romantic garden window. These are romantic garden windows, so you might need romantic garden as well. But the reason why I've used romantic garden is because it was free before. I would never voluntarily download that. But yeah, romantic garden windows. But as I say, the reason why that was not necessarily possible this time around is because I wanted to do something a little bit more realistic. Utopia rather than completely out of the depths to Utopia. So I imagine this could be something that probably either already exists or something that you can get within the next 100 years. Like it's not too distant in the future. My cyberpunk city, even that wasn't too distant in the future. My cyberpunk city was very, very close to Shanghai. So it was like, I haven't really made anything completely like out of the realms futuristic. Like even the little robots in this build, like if you go to maybe like Singapore and if you go to Japan, they have a lot of like little robot helpers. Even in London, they have a lot of little robot helpers. So I feel like this feels like something that could occur in the next 100 years. So I want to do a proper sci-fi build where it really leans into the escapism and stuff like that. But a really difficult thing about that is that we don't have, okay, hear me out. We don't really have a sci-fi center pack. And I know you're probably screaming from behind the screen, but we've got Johnny Whip too, and that's not necessarily a pack anyone wants. We don't have anything particularly focused sci-fi, full stop, not sci-fi storytelling or sci-fi adjacent. It's like if we got a Doctor Who, which I would love, but I know that after the reaction to Star Wars pack, we ain't ever gonna get a Doctor Who one. But it's almost similar to if we had a Doctor Who specific game pack or stuff pack. Yeah, it is sci-fi, but it is sci-fi themed to Doctor Who, so it's a particular type of sci-fi rather than sci-fi generic. And if you want to see it in that kind of light, it's like if we got a medieval pack, excluding the castle kit pack we got. If you got a medieval slash like olden times pack, kind of like that, ancient European kind of aesthetics, ancient West European, like Germanic, English, Anglo-Saxon kind of era, kind of medieval pack, it would be completely different as it being a just general medieval pack, like leaning towards, when is the medieval times? The medieval times Is it between 300 and 1,500? I think, is the Tudor times within the medieval times? I hope it is, because the medieval village that I've built, which I've also built, check out on my channel if you want to see that, had a lot of Tudor architecture inspiration. Anyway, I'm not concentrating on it because I don't want to forget my train of thought. But it's like if we had a medieval pack or a castle pack that is centered on Game of Thrones. It's different from just a general medieval pack because Game of Thrones has its own niche to it, and it's going to have storytelling abilities, and it's going to have this thing that it's not necessarily like all around the wall kind of thing. Like you can't just apply it to everything. It's kind of like when you see it in your game and you try and use the aspects of it in your game, most of them, you're going to be able to tell them from Game of Thrones rather than a medieval period. And I say this because when I used certain items from Journey Batu for this build, you can see avidly what is from Journey Batu. Some of the things you can't, like there's radiators there, there's certain lights, features and stuff like that you can't necessarily tell that they're from Journey Batu. But there are things, especially in, I made a like, because there's the town council room is the one with the balcony where the mayor was staring out of the balcony in the cinematic opening. That town council room, I created kind of like almost like a base. So this is where they kind of have like almost like where the security is for the entire place. And I tried to make it look as kind of like generically sci-fi, but since it's a Star Wars themed pack, you can tell that, oh, these are they Jedis? I'm sorry, I haven't watched Star Wars, and I didn't do the Star Wars playthrough. I only downloaded the pack so I could use the stuff for building. So, but you can tell if you enter it that this is stuff specifically towards Star Wars, not just sci-fi futuristic stuff. So we don't have a like general sci-fi pack. You could just utilize certain elements for different packs and stuff like that to try and emulate it, but not exactly it. And this kind of shined through when I was doing this, because the entire time I was thinking, you know what would be so great? What would make this amazing? First of all, we need more neon lights, because I don't know. I was messing around, and it's like you can have the more grungy version, but we don't just have straight up neon lights. Most of the neon lights that I've utilized within this build are from a City Living, but we just generally need like more neon lights. The more the better. Because I feel like a lot of us do end up using signs. We use signs a lot. I've seen a lot of people do use signs a lot. So if you had more signs, that'd be absolutely wonderful. But beyond that as well, I know this is a bit of a big ask, but it would be so cool if we ever get that sci-fi, because I know they have a sci-fi kit. There was like an option between a sci-fi themed kit and castle kit. So I know that the EA Maxis community, they have it. So whenever they choose to release that would be great. It would be really cool if you had something that could create almost like a hologram kind of like esque like thing. Like I'm thinking Blade Runner, but less grungy, Blade Runner 2049, but like a little bit less grungy, so we can have that. Because imagine how cool it would look in night with the holographs and stuff like that. I just think that would be so cool. But because we don't have that, I think that's why I was struggling so much to do the interior and the exterior of this, because I was just looking at it and I was like, what do I use? Like I can use like very generic stuff, and since it's Utopia, not dystopia, it has to be kind of like more lighter and more refreshing and more like very like we have become one with the old and the new, we have become one with nature and technology, that kind of vibe. And I was like, oh, what do I use? So do you know what I did? Almost, I think the plant is called the Alchemist. I used, or is it the Architect? Something starting with an A. It's basically got like a cuboid base, and it's just got like a green stem coming out of it. I used that everywhere because that just screams future to me. At most, it screams contemporary, and that was enough for me. That's all I needed, because I was just looking at it the entire time and I was like, what do I do with you? I'm so happy for the spa day kit, because I don't know, but because of all these stresses you hear me talking about in this voiceover, you can see why I say it's a labor of hate, not a labor of love. Initially, it was a labor of love. When I started off with this piece that you see on the bottom right hand corner of the screen, that was like a meditation space, because I also imagined that the future, there's a more harmonious mix between spirituality, religion, and tech. Like, that's how I imagine the future. Like, I just imagine utopia. Everything is balanced and everything is homogenous and everything is homogenous the right word? I don't think that was the right word, but everything is kind of blended well together. So there's a bit of everything, like I said, plants and technology, like I said, with like all those kinds of things. So I was like, I think there'll be like a really cool spiritual space, because also with a utopia, a lot of people, when you say utopia, they initially think of either Japanese architecture or they think of Greek architecture, thinking of Greek architecture Atlantis-esque. Because I feel like if you say to someone, think of what Atlantis looks like, they're going to think of like some place that looks like ancient Greece, but they're going to think of like a very developed ancient Greece. And because I think it was the first university from Greece, because I know a lot of scholars and a lot of academics are from either Greece or the Middle East. So I was just like, anyone who thinks of just like the future, they think of Greece kind of like, there will always be a certain element of Greece in the mind, ancient Greece, when they are thinking of the future. And with ancient Greece comes, oh my gosh, what is it called? Is it marble? I think it's marble. I might be wrong. But ancient Greece, obviously, there's a lot of white stone. I forgot what it's called. It's not marble. There's something else. It's definitely not limestone. It's something else. But anyway, with ancient Greece, there comes like the marble, the limestone, not limestone, but marble and white rock and everything like that. And people think of that as the utopias. I mean, even, you don't even need to think about Greece. Think of Babylon. Like, that place, that had the, I'm forgetting everything today. That Babylon had this tower, this garden tower that was cascading, and it had such a very unique kind of system where the water would churn upwards and fall down into almost like a waterfall going down. And I think the reason why a lot of people, not just because of what we know of ancient Greece and what we know of the Middle East, think of these countries when it comes to the utopias, I think a lot of people think of these countries, and this is me trying to be a little bit academic with it, but I'm pretty sure a lot of people have already said this statement before. I'm probably not the first. Is because these older communities, these people back then found a unique system that could work with innovation and nature. And right now we don't see our current system, our current world as a utopia, because we don't work with nature. We almost fight against it. I mean, look at what's going around. I'm not going to get too deep into politics, I'm sorry, I promise. But look what's going on around the world. We pay a price to nature in order to create our tech. Like, as much as I would love, absolutely adore holograms. I just think holograms are cool, but I want holograms distinctively. I don't want a hologram that looks like a person, because I don't want that. I want a hologram that distinctively looks like a hologram, like something a little bit fun. That kind of thing. And it would be so cool to have that. But I just know with the way our system currently works that the price we would need to pay to have a hologram would be at the expense of nature. We would end up destroying some forest or destroying some community of people's ecosystem for the sake of generating those holograms. So those holograms can never come to be. But in a utopia, I imagine there is that kind of energy. What? You can tell them I'm losing it. There's kind of that, I wanted to say synergy, but I don't think synergy is the word, is it? There's a kind of like that the balance between the two. I keep saying balance, I'm so sorry. But there is that balance between the two in a utopia, I imagine, where we can have these bullet trains, but we aren't like using fossil fuels in order to make them function. We can have those bright lights, but the solar, and I think you do see, since I use Equalize, so I try and put solar panels all over the place, because I want, as the world runs, the city runs. And that's how I basically imagined building this, is that we still have a lot of trees, because that's also another important aspect. I never knew And so, yeah, I'm getting really into this, but I never knew that the reason why cities are starting to feel so hot is not just because a lot of them. Also, you've noticed that there isn't any cars within this. Like, not only did I not put cars for the sake of, I just think it wouldn't have suited the aesthetic, but also because if you think of a utopia, I feel like unless the cars are like, again, solar panel, like as soon as you rise up, you generate heat from the sun, and it's a continuous continuation of energy, because energy never stops, energy is never destroyed, it only just turns into something different. So utilizing that sun energy is the same as solar panels, but I feel like that would be so messed up as well, because again, I'm not a scientist. My best subject was physics in sciences, but I'm not that. It's been a very long time. It's been 6 years. So I'm not that knowledgeable about that kind of thing. But I believe that utilizing solar could be beneficial for flying cars. But I feel like even still, you are emitting some kind of excess energy, because with every energy that is intaken, there's also excess energy somewhere else. And that's normally thermal energy. So I feel like having cars here would also just made it a lot more heated, because what I've learned quite recently is that a reason why a lot of cities now feel very hot is not just because of the cars, but it's also because of the lack of greenery and plant life within the city. So as you've seen, this being a depreciating amount of trees within cities. And because of that, it constantly feels hot because there is no shade and there's no trees soaking up all these excess carbon dioxide, and it's just, and then you've got so much excess carbon dioxide because of the cars. So I was just like, this utopia doesn't have that. This utopia has trees. This utopia doesn't have cars. It has a train. If you want to go anywhere, you go on the train. And this utopia has a lot of water, which is a very purposeful thing, because again, I feel like I wasn't even conscious. I feel like this is one of the builds that as I created it, I wasn't even conscious of what I was truly creating. I was just kind of creating for the sake of creating. But now I look back at it, I can see why certain things, if you were to interpret it, are placed where they are, like the consistent amounts of water all around, which also, on the save file, this is my build save file, so I don't really play in the save file. I just build stuff on it and I kind of leave it there. On the save file, in this exact world, Del Sol Valley, there's also that realistic American street. So it's not like cohesive. It's not like this entire world. I could have put this in my supernatural one, but it's not really supernatural, is it? And then it wouldn't fit anywhere else, so I kind of just left it here. But anyways, what I was saying is that when you look back on this build, it's like one of those builds, like you look back and you're just like, oh, so I did have like kind of an, like subconsciously understand what I was creating, was the excessive amounts of water can also be just like an easy pace to get any, I feel like, let me say this roughly, because I'm getting a little bit delirious. I'm really hot. My room's really hot. Another way, how should I say that? It's like almost similar to the Babylon system. It's running this water, these pools. There's water seeping into the soil as well as the rock itself that is contained inside, the actual foundation that is contained inside. So the water that seeps into it, there's no chlorine in this water. So this is just like maybe built up water from the rain or using reservoirs or something. And this seeps into the natural plant life within the city itself, so it can also obtain water from that front as well as the rain. And I think that's just like a kind of cool aspect to think about when you have that. And I just like how I also put a lot of like grass on top of roofs and stuff like that, and there's like even trees on roofs, because I just imagine they plant and plant and plant. Where they can plant, they will plant. If it's on top of a roof, if they've got the space, they will plant a tree there, because it is, at the end of the day, just creating that energy of having plants and technology together. And I just like how, in retrospect, because I certainly wasn't thinking it when I was doing it. When I was doing it, I was just like, this looks cool. Because I'm not gonna pretend to you guys like I'm some extremely insightful person, because I'm not. I'm really not. I do a lot of things based off of what do you call it? Instinct. And I feel like that's a really great aspect to have, but it's a big downfall, because then you end up doing things where it's always amazing, but if someone tells you, oh, what was your mind process? What was your mental process? What were you thinking about when you were going to do it? I'll just kind of look at you and be like, that wasn't thinking anything. I just kind of did it. And I feel like it's a big downfall because that's basically how I functioned throughout life entirely. That, in getting better at building in The Sims, I don't know, I didn't really specifically focus on an improvement, because if you look at my first ever build, not on this channel, I've been building since I was 11. If you look at my first ever builds, they were the foundation. I used to do borderline Mott Bailey kind of things, where it would be a massive foundation and my house on top, and so many just windows and everything. I'll just absolutely disgusting. And if you look at them and you look at what I build now, obviously you can see a sense of improvement, but I can't particularly tell what I've improved on. I know that my building process has changed now, and I know that my builds are getting better. I mean, just look at my first ever build on the channel and look at the builds that I create now. They have improved, but it's not like I plan this. I just built it based off of how I was feeling. I was just like, oh, this looks cool here. This looks cool here. This looks cool here. That's how I did it. It's the same with Gotham City, which is one of my best builds. That's why I bring it up so often. With that, I just kind of knew that there was going to be a build in the middle and the build on the outsides, but I wasn't necessarily thinking how this is going to look. I just kind of built it and built it and built it, and it came out. And that process is really fun because it means that it's less mental strain on me, but it's also really bad because if I don't do something particularly good, I don't know how to improve it because I don't know how I did it good before. So, if I was to recreate this, I would really struggle to try and recreate this or recreate something very similar to this because I don't know how I made that look nice. Like, I know it's nice because there's different terrain levels and stuff like that, but I don't know what my mental process was in order to generate that. So it was like, yeah, what's up? Oh, sorry. Do I need to have a conversation with you guys? Yesterday, it was 12 in the afternoon, and I told myself I need to get this build out for Saturday at 2 p.m. because I've changed my uploaded schedule yet again, and now I do Tuesday, Thursdays, and Saturdays. So I was like, this needs to come out on 2 p.m. And I was applying. I normally, as you guys know, I've been applying for jobs, which also my mind is horrible because where's my mind having dreams of me at a job and I wake up and I realize I'm jobless? It's actually, there's nothing hurts more than wanting to work, seeing actual jobs on websites like you're like, this is so cool. If I could just do this, if I could do this, if I could get this, I'll be the happiest person ever. And then just not being able to get it. And it's not like I'm getting as you guys know, I want to be a film director, but I'm not applying for film directing jobs because that's another thing. You normally go into film festivals and you get scouted. No, I'm applying for admin roles and stuff like that. Things working with just computers or like secretary roles, assistant roles. I will run around London for you guys. Like that's the roles I'm applying for. And I'm still not getting them. And it's like, but you don't understand. I would wake up with a smile on my face, not every day. But most days, I wake up with a smile on my face to do this job because I generally do like working. I just hate applying for jobs. But anyway, beyond that, I got distracted. When I normally apply for jobs, and there was a particular day that the website that I used to get the best jobs was not functioning, so I was like, okay, let me just see what I can do working around the game. So I was just doing some stuff on my TikTok, I was doing some stuff for my Twitter, I was doing some stuff for there. So then I told myself that on Friday, since I've uploaded on Thursday, which I'm really happy you guys liked that, since I've uploaded on Thursday, on Friday, I'm going to spend it finalizing every single thing I need to do for this Utopia build so I can get it out of the way at 2 p.m. on Saturday. So on Monday, I can fully focus on furnishing the part 1, part 2 build that I'm uploading for both Tuesday and Thursday because that is such a big build that I need to do it in 2 parts because I'm furnishing everything. Normally, like this build, I just furnish one particular unit and then everything else I just do kitchen and what else? I just do kitchen and bathrooms for the other unit. This time around, I'm furnishing everything. So I was like, this is going to take a lot of time. This is going to take up my entire Monday. So I can just do 3 hours on Monday applying for jobs. I want to do 4 hours on Saturday applying for jobs. Sunday rest. And then Monday I'd apply for jobs and I'd do the rest of that build. That was what was in my mind, right? So then on Saturday I sit down and I'm ready. I'm like, okay, I'm going to start building. why is it not working? Why is my game not loading? Like every single time I would get onto the actual build itself, like I'm on the lots now, I'm ready to go, my game would just completely crash and I'll need to go. I think I restarted the game at least. I started the game close to 20 times yesterday, just trying to get it to work, and it was just, well, it wasn't doing it, was it? So then what happened? I'm trying to think. Yeah, so what happened was that it wasn't loading properly, and I was kind of really stressed out. So I was like, I'm trying to be professional, I'm trying to be on time, and this is not working. I want my game to work because it's all on my SSD, and if my SSD is the one that's not functioning, that means CapCut isn't functioning. That means I wouldn't even be able to edit a video. What I know about my computer, I hate shutting down my computer, because if I shut it down, that's when my SSD starts malfunctioning. So I was like, okay, I need to really concentrate on how I'm going to do this, because I do not want my game to crash. So every single time I loaded, it kept crashing until one time it didn't crash. So I decided to start building. This is what you're looking at right now. Start building, and it's not crashing, and I'm really excited. In a second, you're going to see there's a cutoff point, right? And I'm really surprised how much I made it look like the original. I'm looking for a sign. This sign that I'm placing down, it's not on the tour, or you probably didn't even see it on the cinematic intro, because this entire section from when I built the gym, you saw the gym, to this part, my game crashed as it was saving, and everything was gone, and I had to redo it. I had to give myself a 2-hour break, and I had to be like, no, I'm not doing this. I have been trying lately not to get angry too quickly, not to be quick to anger. I've been trying to keep calm, not complain, just keep calm. It's fine. Not everything happens for a reason, because that's kind of messed up sometimes, but everything that has happened is gonna happen, and I just need to roll with the punches. So the game crashed. I don't have a time turner. I don't have a time machine. I can't reverse my game crashing. I just have to keep on rolling, keep on moving, move on to the next thing, instead of dwelling on what occurred and what didn't occur. That's my mental space that I'm trying to be at. So I was looking, and do you know what prompted it? What prompted it is that, actually, I'm not going to tell you, just in case I ever tell my friends about this channel. I don't need them to know about this. But anyway, something happened. I'll just say something happened that I assumed for at least 3 weeks, and I was really angry about. I thought something happened between me and my friend, only for me to then go onto a social media website and realize that for the last 3 weeks, it wasn't actually what I thought it was. It was completely different. And it's because I hadn't logged into my social media for 3 weeks that I didn't realize that it is what was happening. So because of that, I realized that I need to stop stressing over things that don't involve me. I need to stop thinking and getting so quick to anger about certain things. I need to take time, take a step back. It'll be fine. We'll be fine, and count my blessings. That's what I need to do. But in this moment, I was like, nah, hell to all of that. I'm going up this and reading my book. I'm not touching this. And I was just so stressed. But after that, I was just like, you know what? It's fine. I can't come back. I can't undo that. I'm just going to rebuild. It's fine. I'll just continue doing what I can do. And then I'll just roll with the punches. If I have to upload 6 hours, 4 hours later than my original upload time, it is fine. My audience will understand it's not that serious. So I had to tell myself that. But sometimes when your game crashes on that 10th time, you're not thinking that. You're thinking very, very strong vulgar language. But beyond that, I think what ended up happening because of that, I did build. So this part is where I did ended up where it wasn't crashing anymore. Because of that, I think I did build a little bit better on the second time around, because the first time around I was kind of just rushing through it to try and get it out of the way with. But the second time I could take a little bit more time and be like, no, this is how it should go. This is how it should look and stuff like that. And I really like how it ended up looking on the second time around. So maybe that was like, okay, it is what it is. What it is, what is going to happen is going to happen. Oh my God, I thought there was a pigeon in my room. Oh my God, I thought there was a pigeon in my... Okay, you guys need to know, I see things. Well, the time I said it in my last video, overactive imagination and bad eyesight. I see things, and I thought the flower on my windowsill was a pigeon, but it wasn't. So, thank goodness. I think the only time there's only the borderline a pigeon in my room was like literally ages ago. I think 4 years ago, and that's because I lived in the attic. So yeah. Anyway, we're getting really close to the end of the video, but I want to say that it was really, this part was very difficult finishing because it was like, what do I do? Like, I want to see, I'm adding the exact same plant. I added it everywhere. It literally was a crutch for me. But when it came to this apartment, I was like, I'm gonna, what's it called? What's the word? Furnish. That's it. I'm going to furnish the smallest unit. And the reason why I said I'm going to furnish it, why I told myself I'm going to furnish the smallest unit, is because I was like, it makes sense for me to furnish the smallest unit because I have absolutely no idea what to do with other units. I have, for whatever reason, which is really bad because I have an entire save file that I want to make based off of sci-fi. Like, I only made one part of it, which was the base camp. And beyond that, I never really built anything else because it takes a lot of imagination to do that, because I need to make ships, I need to make airports, I need to make very massive like cave mansions and minimalistic mansions and stuff like that. And right now I just, in my head, all I'm thinking about is fall, autumn, twilight, Harry Potter. That's all I'm thinking about in my head at the moment. So it's not necessarily good to be like trying to build a spaceship when what you want to do is build a English cottage. So I kind of had that on the back burner for a long time. So I was like, okay, I mentally can't think of how to build a spaceship, let alone can I build like a really big apartment. And some of them, the way that the room is, because the different, there was a difference in time between me creating the floor plans and doing these builds and like furnishing them. And I want to pat myself on the back for whenever I decided to do the floor plan, because at this moment in time, I cannot even think how on earth I managed to do those floor plans, because I get a headache thinking about them because they're just so difficult to look back on. But this apartment itself, I really like it because I don't really do that many multi-level studio apartments. And originally I wanted to do the kitchen on the bottom floor, but then it was too small, and I'm really liking how the bed is actually on the bottom floor and the kitchen and stuff is on the upper floor, because it's normally the other way around here. And I really like it. It's really cute. And the view, you'll see it on the tour at the end. The view, they can see the entirety of Del Sol Valley outside the window, and I think, yeah, that's it. That is the perfect spot to be at when you are a stormtrooper, which is what he is. Wait, that's the word, stormtrooper, not Jedi. That's it. Yeah, and you'll see this in our brain is melting into mush at the moment, gosh. Literally and slowly my brain is melting. But yeah, that's like the perfect place for a stormtrooper. And I know some of you are probably thinking, hey, EmeraldStories, where's the floor at? No floor. I like the way it looks. I like the concrete. I feel like it matches the entire vibe, because it's not necessarily dystopian, but this person is not got the biggest, nicest apartment. So I was like, this is perfect. Like, I like the whole no floor look. It just looks nice. It looks very like industrial, like clean, minimalist, industrial kind of vibes. So I really like how that looks. And you can see me struggling with the bathroom because I had no idea how to do the bathroom. But now, as I am ending the video, I'm starting to think of a lot of things I should have said. So I'm really trying to rush through every single thing. I'm sorry if this gives you a headache. The reason why there's no floors on the outside is because I've tried. I think you saw it at the beginning. If you didn't, I tried to put floors on the outside. It would not work for whatever reason. So it ended up making me use the thingies. What's it called? Paints. So I ended up using the paints. Well, so some of the rooms are really like laid out weirdly because of the way I did the structure. But I promise you, it really does work out in the end. It looks super, super cute. When it's sunny, this place is the most gorgeous thing you've ever seen. Also, I do have a name for it. I do call it Moon because it's on the Bailey Moon mansion, but also the lighting I use on the outside, they kind of look like mimicking moons. So I mean, like, look at that. It looks like a moon. So I just decided to call it the Moon City, and it's really nice. And yeah, 40 minutes of audio. I didn't. I was stressed out about that, but now I know I never need to do another 40 minutes. Actually, I do, because I've got a 2-part. But that's fine. That's fine, because at least it's not going to give me as much as a headache as this felt it. But yeah. Anyways, thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, but if you don't want to, that's also okay. I appreciate you staying this long and listening to all of my ramblings. Also, don't forget to leave a comment down below. I read all of your comments. Don't want to marry, and I really, really hope you like this. Anyway, see you soon. Goodbye.